Guten Tag, everyone, and welcome to Thursday, July 18th, 2024. I'm Joe Pratt, keeping you informed of what's happening in the world. As the investigation into Thomas Matthew Crooks goes on, some questions are being answered, but many more are being dredged up. The FBI has gained access to the cell phone of Thomas Crooks, the shooter at the Trump rally. He had photos of Trump, Biden, Merrick Garland, and FBI Director Chris Wray and other officials on his phone. The FBI has also scoured his computer, home, and car and talked to more than 100 people. A special agent in charge of the Pittsburgh field office says they haven't found any indication of mental illness. They found that he had looked up the dates for the Democratic National Convention as well as other Trump appearances. Local law enforcement noticed Crooks pacing around the edges of the rally with a big backpack and peered into the lens of a rangefinder toward the rooftops behind the stage where the president stood. Local officers said they were searching for a suspicious person about the time Trump arrived, and they didn't see anyone around the building. So a local officer was boosted up to the roof by another officer. The officer looking on the roof saw a person who pointed a rifle at him. The officer then dropped down and notified other officers of the person's position, and moments later, the shooting started. There are several questions being circulated around by investigators and by people who watched it unfold about the Secret Service and law enforcement's negligence, like, for instance, why did several onlookers 2.5 minutes before the shooting begin pointing out to law enforcement a guy on the roof? I thought that law enforcement's job was to be on the lookout for any suspicious activity, and several onlookers were trying to get law enforcement's attention to point out the guy on the roof. Now, also, even though the building was outside the perimeter of the venue, it was just barely outside, only 150 yards from the stage, and yet no officials noticed the ladder leaning up against the building. A recent survey shows that the average American household spends over $475 a month on groceries. That's $5,700 a year. Although food prices have gone up over 20% the last 3 years, grocery prices have leveled off the last year, with prices going up just 1.2% in the last 12 months. Dairy, meat, fish, poultry, and eggs have gone down slightly in the last 12 months, about 1%. But prices on eating out, whether fast food or at a restaurant, have continued to go up by just over 5% in the last year. In the obituary column, a few notable people have died today or in the last couple days. First is fitness guru Richard Simmons. Next, Shelley Duvall. Also Shannon Doherty, former newsman Lou Dobbs, and finally, comedian superstar Bob Newhart. Happy birthday to those of you born on this date. You share a birthday with Harriet Nelson from Ozzie and Harriet, Red Skelton, Nelson Mandela, astronaut John Glenn, baseball player and manager Joe Torre, James Brolin, singer Martha Reeves, Richard Branson, Ricky Skaggs, Nick Faldo, golfer, Vin Diesel, NBA star Penny Hardaway, and Kristen Bell. In sports, the British Open started today, one of golf's major championships, and Daniel Brown of England is leading by one shot after today's action. Today's quote from the sacred works of the world's major religions comes from the Quran, from Surah Baqarah, verse 152. So remember me, and I will remember you, and be grateful to me, and do not deny me. A sign on the side of the road reads, ban pre-shredded cheese. Make America GRATE again. Joe Pratt, make it a great day.